So welcome Ashish. Thank you for joining from Florida, the Sunshine State. और आप टेक्नोलॉजी में काम करते हैं और यहाँ से पहले इंडिया में ही रहते थे और अभी वहाँ पर फ्लोरिडा में शिफ्ट हुए हैं. एंड आई नो यू बिकॉज यू हैव ऑलवेज बीन एक्सपेरिमेंटिंग एंड केम. आप स्पिरिचुअल स्पाइरल्स के और भी सारे डिस्कशंस में कुछ डिस्कशंस में आपने पार्टिसिपेट किया है. तो आशीष, वेलकम. आई एम अनुराधा एंड द थिंग अबाउट दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन इज दैट मैंने भी कई बुक्स, टीचर्स, वर्कशॉप्स, ग्रुप्स में पार्टिसिपेट करके सीखा है, समझा है. और इस तरह से मैंने अपनी मतलब लाइफ, ऑफ कोर्स प्रोफेशनल लाइफ और पर्सनल लाइफ में मैं ऐसे आगे बढ़ी हूँ. तो हमें पता भी नहीं चलता कि हम कैसे, किसको कैसे छू लेते हैं या कौन हमें कैसे टच, इंस्पायर, मोटिवेट कर देता है. सो
Mhm.
behind knowing your journey, this is the background. तो आशीष, इफ यू कैन स्टार्ट, आप शुरू कर सकते हैं कि आपकी पढ़ाई कैसे हुई और आपको किस चीज ने ऐसे लगा कि नहीं, मुझे इस तरह से सोचना है, या आपने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया और या आपने कुछ वर्कशॉप अटेंड की, या स्पिरिचुअली आप किस तरह से आगे बढ़े.
Thank you, Anurag, for welcoming me here. And I believe like we are spiritual from birth, unless or until you are casted in some different direction. Because most of us like casted, most I cannot say most, but like many of us are casted in different direction. For me, it was just like when I was small kid. So I like something, just like kind of urge of something. Just like I was naturally good at science and naturally good at art, and still this thing carries with me like in my school days. So without knowing the drawing, I can just draw some good pictures of uh, not the gods. I was conventionally never believed in God, but like I like to draw something science, something like this thing, and without any kind of like guidance. So I used to draw nature paintings. That was just a pencil sketch what 4 year can 4 year fourth standard grade guy can do. So as to draw these things, so I was naturally inclined to this. So like in my childhood times, I used to ask some questions with my parents, just like many kids ask. So I found like they don't have really some answers, so I dig into books, and it was just natural. Just like a few years back, I still remind me of that thing. Like maybe if you go to some scientists, just like Newton or some Faraday or different scientists, they too have like this kind of urge. So like just like Newton, like his family life was not that good, and Faraday, his family life was like good, but he was poor. But he found his peace, he found his solace in different things. Just like we knew in case of Newton, we often think of like a apple gira, then something event happened. So like he found his solace in Bible, he found his solace in experimenting, he found his solace in and different sort of like juggling between the things, deciphering the meaning in the Bible and different kind of things. So like it's very common for you, me, and other people also, unless until you're casted in different direction. So like it started with this way. So somehow I was like not that much casted, some degree casted, but like still I was not very much casted. Just like conventionally we believe in God, so since childhood I believe that as a part of culture, but like not as a part of spirituality. And in like my first school, like in fifth standard, fourth standard, just like a faint memory clicked. So suppose if I like if I have not done homework for a subject, and tomorrow is my school, so sometimes I used to pray, God please save me, I genuinely tried to do this but it didn't happen. So sometimes I feel like okay, it just happened. Tried second time, it just happened. So from that point my belief was slightly shifted. But for the family, I used to just like as a part of culture, okay, I pray to God, go to temple and do this thing. But internally, I some degree remain untainted. So that was my start of the spiritual journey. And many time in my life, I took guidance guidance from that perspective. Okay, what should I do? But for that thing, you need to be open minded, trusting the thing. Even sometime it failed me, but like there was some lesson to learn.
Wonderful, wonderful, Ashish. Thank you, thank you. And yes, everybody goes through the background, and even parents are right. They have to give us some culture that this is how the society works, and we get trained also in going out and going in some religious functions. So, can you
Mhm.
remember, like when you were, say, teenage, or maybe when you started working? uh, what are the, say, first or second or third, maybe impressions that made you think, I have to experiment more, or I have to keep on experimenting? Sometimes, sometimes we people do some experiments in childhood, then stop it. But for you, you have been regular with it. So what prompted
Yeah.
you to be regular? Or can you give it some example or some book or anything?
Yeah. So like in my teenage days, back in the college days, like I'm always been experimenting with some things or some degree, whatever I find it handy. So like back in those days, maybe more than a decade back, uh the first thing not the first thing, but the thing I heard about, like there was brainwave kind of thing, alpha wave, beta waves. So some there was some music, so let's experiment with that. So I tried that thing. So then some breathing exercises, some uh, I go to temple. There was a temple called in Lucknow. When I was in Lucknow, so I used to go to temple of Swami Vivekanand. So there was some chanting. I was always attracted to that. So sometimes you feel very deep peace, you are very calm. So in that way it started, and after that I built up a little bit. So uh I tried other things also, just like I was not aware of oils, aromatic things, incense. So I've tried that ton of thing. So what makes me kick? So there are things that make me kick more into this. So spirituality is like experimenting itself yourself. So your experience can be different, my experience can be different, but just like what can get kicked in to like to put you into that state. So that get me started. And I've read some book, like just like nowadays, like I don't get much time to read about it, but I read about like one book, Many Man, Many Mind, Many Masters by Dr.
Many
Brian
lives,
Weiss.
many masters.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it was a more than like 5 6 years back. Bruce Lipton. And nowadays, like I don't read much, but I follow the thing in YouTube, and like I'm not kind of book reading kind of guy, so I follow the things in the YouTube, because that way it's more interactive, and like it is more, it gives more impression to mind. So
I
reading books
totally,
and
I
experimenting
totally
with the
agree.
things, and sometimes like experimenting with some different kind of say herbs also. Just like 2 years back, two I think 2 years back, I tried mugwort, and that like mugwort is a herb that is used for lucid dreaming, and it's not available in India. Uh, I don't know, like I've searched, but as far as my search goes, it's not available in India. So I ordered that from Etsy to see like does it have some kind of lucid dreaming and that kind of thing.
So, did it help in lucid dreaming? That weed, that
Uh,
weed, herb, mugweed.
I'm like the results are dicey.
Okay.
Sometimes I felt okay, this is the thing. Sometimes I didn't feel like okay, this is a thing. So it's all this thing like close make you like closer closer to nature, closer to your spiritual experiments experiences. Sorry,
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand.
so just a
And
part of like your evolution, your
right,
spiritual evolution.
right. And what effect those beta waves or the that music has on you? Like, I know I'm not into much of music, whether any kind of beats. But
Mhm.
when you hear beats, does it have some effect on you? Like, how do you feel when you hear those? Or do you still hear that kind of music?
Yes, yes, and there is one app also. I still listen sometimes. where there are beta waves, theta, beta, theta, alpha, and you can tweak that thing also. So just like delta waves, if you are tired but you are not feeling sleepy, like you need to quiet your mind. So delta wave, I often go with delta wave and theta wave because beta and alpha are kind of like close to your default state. Beta is your focus state and alpha is your relaxation state. But alpha, like I hardly tried. Mostly it is theta and your delta waves. So like I've tried many times delta waves. If I listen some music of delta waves, I often fall asleep. And
Wonderful.
theta waves is just like theta waves. I've tried many times the theta waves. This often get me like theta is kind of like a dreaming state. So when I meditate with that music on, so I just get sometimes astray to different paths. So definitely those music has effect.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
sometimes apart from these music, I have nature music. Sometimes it's like it's like hallucination, ghostly kind of music, different flutes, or yeah, tons of like whatever earlier used to find in the torrents. Some were good, some were like haunting. Even I tried the haunting one also.
yeah, surprising, surprising. But
Mm.
the what I'm getting from you is that you have tried so many things and you are experimenting. Like you're not stuck with one thing. You want to go ahead and try one more thing, one more thing. So that's
Mm.
how I think that is the
It's
theme.
evolution actually.
Yeah,
My evolution is happening in this way. Your evolution might be happening in
yeah,
different way.
right, 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 right.
And
Now,
experimenting with those things, one thing I forgot to mention, I did Reiki for like quite quite years
yes,
of quite quite some time.
okay.
Like
So what
for
level of Reiki? What level? First
uh
level?
it's first level because I
Yeah,
first want to heal myself.
yeah,
And you don't know like you are healed completely. So I was
yes,
stuck in the first level only. Okay,
yes.
I'm doing this. Sometimes you're feeling energy, okay, that's good. Then again you go on the same mode. So like it I never leveled up because I perfectly want to heal myself. And like that thing I did it intensely for like maybe 4 or 5 years back. I used to do this thing intensely. And uh, it was sometimes so intense. It's like I had music in my phone, and I used to listen that for hour, yeah, for an hour. And and yeah, sometimes it happened to me twice. It happened to me twice, like when I was listening, and my energy is like on the top of the roof. I'm feeling a damn good energy. So sometimes it just interfere with that mobile music. I feel some kind of distortion, some kind of like mobile has some issues. But later that day, mobile got itself uh, healed. You can say healed, or it auto corrected itself.
Correct. So we all have, right? You, as you said, we have different ways of experimenting. For me, it was, like going in different groups, like
Hmm.
meeting different teachers or different groups, or keep on reading whichever books interested me, whether they were, say, cell biology, like you said, Bruce Lipton, whether that was Dreams by Dennis Lin, or whether that was angel therapy. But I have not learned Reiki somehow, but other modalities, mostly at least the beginner level, I have tried and do and practicing it.
Hmm.
And sometimes we
Actually,
get
qualities.
stuck also in some pattern. Then we feel, no, there is something I need to understand. Then whatever comes up in the
Hmm.
immediate surroundings, some a friend suggests, okay, why don't you try this? Then I feel at one time, like you said, evolution that it happens. Like one type of thought can lead you in certain, certain kind of way. But then you need some other kind of, say, nutrition, some other kind of impact. And then you go and do something else. Yeah.
Actually, there are few qualities that every spiritual, I believe, every spiritual seeker should have, like open-mindedness, trust, and lastly, we say like follow your heart, but take your brain with your heart also, because your heart is good for like bigger perspective, bigger things. and mind is good for like finding the ways.
Right, right.
So you need to have like open mindedness, trust, and you need to have some courage also. Sometimes the
Yes,
paths get shown are like maybe it's not good, but it it is for your evolution.
yes, yes,
And one more thing I like to point out: if there are spiritual guides, there are angels, they talk to you. They sometimes talk to you, but they are not directly talking. It's
yes,
coming to like you met some friend and maybe stranger or something, someone who said like you must do this thing. But if you are blocked, if you are in your world, you are not open minded, you are in your thought, that maybe that spiritual guide came and put that person in place, and that person said to you, there's a time for this, you should try it, but you didn't listen. And sometime it happen, if you listen, you are doubting too much, whether should I do it, whether should not I do it.
yeah. So guides
So some
and supporters
hmm,
can appear in any random place or any
any
random
random
way.
place,
Yeah,
hmm, any random way.
yes. So thank you, Ashish, for your time. And anything for, say, somebody like, say, suppose who's a 15-year-old or a 20-year-old, maybe living India, abroad, anywhere, who wants to learn music or something. Any recommendations, like any app or something you want to recommend or something?
Music, I'm not sure,
Okay,
but I still would like to say this thing: be open minded.
okay, be
Like
open-minded.
take your take your heart, but take your mind with you, because like we need healing most many of the time. We are always spiritual, but we need healing.
Yeah.
We need healing to like shed those layers to see this correctly, because we often have like every person does have some kind of issues. So like as you pass with your life, you should get healed, your heart should get bigger.
Mhm.
Then you can see the bigger perspective. Like when you're passing through life, your heart should get bigger, and at the end of the life, your heart should be very wide open. You should be very much evolved, because there's life after your death, after our death. So if we are not resolved with this thing, we are constantly doing the same churn up of the matter.
And
So for
with your spiritual journey, did you find that your, say, work or issues came down or was minimum, or your love for your, say, family members increased or something? What effect, other than that you are evolving
yes,
spiritually? What,
yes,
like, can you share something a bit about that?
yes. Actually, I must say, when I was like in my childhood, I didn't feel much love around, around, yeah, I can say, and sometime in the family also. But just like when I evolved, I think of, okay, I was thinking that way. That way is correct too. Just like quality of open mindedness. So I tried. Okay, this perspective. This guy have this perspective. Okay, he's correct at this time. So that moment he should have done this thing. So if you think in other shoes also, the person's shoes also, you may come up with this kind of thing. And one another point, like I would like to, uh, like apart from love, apart from like my, I've grown myself. Apart from my self love, my love for my family, and love for the things around. Because if you don't feel love internally, then your mind will trick you. Mind will definitely trick you. You should just like to get to a level where someone appreciate you, someone shower you more love, you need to be more worthy, you need to be earning more, you need to be doing the things like impressing other with your stature, kind of. So mind tricks you. But even like you're not feeling love, even you're a millionaire, you are not feeling love, then it goes in drain. Just like yesterday I was listening a song, Linkin Park. So that singer, I think 2018 or 19, that singer committed suicide. So even like he was rock star, he was famous, like he has money, but still he doesn't have love for himself. That thing happens to many rock star. That thing happens to like common people also. So feel self love for yourself, your family, and be open minded. That will
Thank
help.
you. Thank
And
you, Ash.
one more point I would like to quote.
Yeah.
One more point. I remember like when we were talking a year or more than a year back. Uh, you told me that I have some guides like regarding someone on my like I do kind of, you told me like I do boxing or some kind of that thing or physical activities. So like I'm open minded. I was not casted, but still unconsciously I was not aware of that. So like I am very much physically active. I found solace in doing peace and solace in doing physical activities, running, cycling, gymming. So some that guide is cooperating me, and the field I am in, so there's another guide that's cooperating me. I was not aware of that, but since I was open minded, I tried experiment with the things, so that thing came naturally,
Yeah.
and my beliefs are like more reinforced now.
Yeah. So I remember talking about guides with you last, yeah, 2 years back, maybe
Yeah,
2 years. Yeah.
2 years back.
Yeah. So thank you, Ashish. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much.